So in behind me here is a section of my lawn. Maybe you've seen it before. I've done some videos on reseeding, some RPR videos. This particular section of my lawn had cars drive on it. It was a small little section of my lawn. The cars drove on it over the winter and then a little bit on the spring. They didn't park on it or anything, just turned the wheel on there, put the weight of the car on that one section. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix a section like this after it's been heavily compacted from the weight of a car. So before we go too much further in this video, I'd appreciate it if you take a second to subscribe to this channel. You can comment and share it as well. I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my channel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Lancy soil probe, if you will, and I'm going to create some plugs in there. I'm going to try to reduce the compaction of that soil. Quite compact there, really. Trying to do this randomly, but at the same time uniformly, if that makes sense. And the idea here is to create some gaps in the soil, and that soil will collapse into itself over a period of time and will reduce the compaction of that soil. If this were a larger space, I would just bring in an aerator and I would aerate this. Core aerate it, that is. Here's a look at that now that it has been manually core aerated. You can see that soil there. It's actually not a bad soil. It's a good amount, although you can't see it here. There's grit from a little bit of sand. There's silt and definitely some clay there as well. So a good loomy soil. And you can see my thatch layer here. It's pretty much non-existent. I have, for the most part, I have perennial ryegrass. Perennial ryegrass is known for not creating thatch at all, unlike Kentucky bluegrass. So with those cores now sitting on top of the grass, I can do a few things with them. I can just leave them there. I could pick them up and get rid of them, or I could break them up and let it sit on top of the soil. I prefer not to take away those nutrients from the soil, so I'm just going to break them up, and I can do that one of two ways. I can break them up with my hand, just crumple them right in my hand, or I can run my lawnmower over and allow the lawnmower to do the work. There's not many cores here. Let's give it a shot both ways. I can just break that up in my hand and spread that soil out. I'll also give my lawnmower a try and show you how well that breaks up these cores. You can see that lawnmower does a pretty quick job at breaking those cores up. And although there are a few that still need to be broken up, I'll do that by hand. Next, I'm going to flatten that area with some topsoil. There are three tools that I can use to level this area with. I can use my standard bow rake, a landscaper's rake, a lawn level. So I'm not really going to need too much soil for this. One single bag will probably do it. Actually, I measured it out. I know it's going to do it. And this comes, it's an all-purpose soil that's reported to be chemical and weed-free. And when you see weed-free, what it means is it's been composted generally to a temperature of about 160 degrees, and that is going to kill any weed seeds that are in that soil or would have been in that soil. So the next thing I have to do is I have to make sure that this grass comes back. There were, like I said, and like you saw, some pretty deep ruts there that I've filled in. So I'm going to seed those areas, and I'm going to seed them with a regenerating perennial ryegrass, a type of grass that I've been using for the last several years. I can seed this with my spreader, or I can seed it by hand. It's a small enough area that I can easily seed this by hand, but I think I'll run my spreader over it as well. Also, because it's pretty much a bare spot here, I'm going to drop the seed as if I'm applying it to a new lawn. So the next thing to do here is I'm going to blend those seeds in. I'm going to tamper them in place by hand so that there's good seed to soil contact, and I'll then add a little bit of fertilizer. For fertilizer, I'm going to use the Home Depot house brand, at least it's the house brand where I live. It's a starter fertilizer, and it's a 23-23-3. As I said, I'm not using much of this at all. Here's a look at that now. I will add a very thin layer of peat moss over that, as I always do. The peat moss prevents birds from being able to see it as they're flying over. And when that peat gets wet, it holds the seeds in place better than when they're not. And that's all there is to this project. I appreciate the time you've taken to watch the video. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments section below. Also, I'd appreciate it if you can take the time to subscribe to my channel. I'm Jeff Seaton, and this has been Jeff Seaton Lawn Care.